Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, Crypto and Chill, our Tuesday night edition. And we do this again on Fridays if you're interested. This is just the show where me and Jeff maybe pour a drink. He gets some tequila, I get some wine, smoke a cigar, smoke whatever, and we just relax and talk about crypto and life. But tonight we have a very specific topic. I want to talk about, and I think it's a critical time for us to talk about this, and it is how does holding the token of some of these projects actually earn money for you? And I'm not talking about if the price goes up, the price goes down. I'm talking about revenue sharing. I'm talking about dividends. I'm talking about where you actually get paid to hold the token. So I think this is important because if there isn't a method through the tokenomics or the mechanics for that to happen for token holders, ultimately you're holding a meme coin. You're holding a baseball card. You're wearing the football jersey of your favorite crypto team because you're not sharing in the profitability. You're just hoping that the price goes up. So one second. Why don't you jump into the socials? I got a song in the background.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah,
So
Steve was saying we're lagging bad, or I think that might be you.
Oh well, let me shut this off. See if that helps. Yeah, let's try that.
Let's see.
But go ahead and introduce the socials. David might be showing up, but if not, we'll just keep on trucking.
Yeah. Let me add this to the stage. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, Crypto and Chill, where me and Mike go live Tuesday and Friday for this edition at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. There are a host of other shows throughout the week. Monday through Friday, Mike has his DeFi High with David at DeFi University at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and also Money Talks immediately after that on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And of course, our Crypto and Chill editions Tuesday and Friday. DeFi Masterclass on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern with David and Jake Call. And our Red Pill on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific. It's not so much crypto-related stuff, more political-based topics, social current events. And we also have our exclusive interview section where interviews will be dropping. And check out the Canton COO, Shal Kafir interview. That one was great.
Dude.
They actually posted that.
Out. They shouted it out today.
Yeah.
I'll show it here in a minute. I thought that was pretty cool. The Canton team shouted out the interview we did.
Yeah, that was really awesome, man. Really awesome. I think you got some news on them too, right? They got some stuff going on.
Yeah. We got a little bit of alpha on them. Aerodrome, a little bit of KTA alpha. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So check out our brother channels. Me at the Blockchain Report, Blockchain Basement, David's DeFi University, and Jake Call. Jake Call has Metrix Finance, a DeFi portfolio tracker and simulator. It is free to sign up and use. And if you find value in it, you can do the monthly or yearly subscriptions. And David has his DeFi University course. It is totally free. Pretty big comprehensive course that they are going, him and Mike are going through daily. They're doing all the lessons and videos and stuff.
9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We're basically going through every single lesson, live on the air and just talking it through. So, we're walking you through the entry level DeFi. And this is super entry level. Like if you know nothing about crypto and you go through this course, it will teach you about crypto. It'll teach you about DeFi. It will teach you about every aspect of that you'll need to know to invest, to trade, to do DeFi, whatever.
Yeah, and you guys have been finding out, or even David has been learning stuff from going through it, and he's the one that made the lesson. So,
dude. No, we hit where it actually very simply explained the difference between APR and APY, and And I was like, oh, that's cool to know. I've always, been wondering, kind of what it was, and I couldn't really find a straight answer. And he was like, yeah, me neither. And I was like, what? I was like, you don't know that? Like I've, always understood there was a difference, but didn't really, I was like, oh shit. Okay. So everybody can learn something.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is a pretty intense, or not intense, but it's pretty in-depth, comprehensive course. He does have a daily live mentorship program Monday through Friday, and that is for a fee. It is $97 a month for that, but it's 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and you get, direct access to David and strategies and other members in the community. So,
oh yeah, like DeFi Don and all the guys that are usually in the chat. A lot of those guys are on those live calls.
Yeah, really awesome. And check out Myke's DeFi Wize newsletter that goes out Monday through Friday. It is just under $20 a month. It goes out before the traditional finance markets open. They get ranges set for certain assets, market sentiment, all kinds of alpha. So it's at your fingertips when you get up in the morning, and you don't have to go searching.
It's a quick 5-10 minute read. Gives you the highlights, gives you some ranges, gives you entry and exits for the different assets. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Market sentiment, all that kind of stuff. And it's like a 5-10 minute read. While you're drinking your coffee, drinking your tea in the morning, you can browse through that and have at least your finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah. Great resource, man. Great resource. So you can catch Myke at Veteran4Crypto on Twitter, me at the BCR142, and we are streaming on the arena.social. You can find us here. If you're on Twitter, come over, sign up. You can sign up using your Twitter account, and it's kind of like a Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. They got what they call them, stages here. Instead of spaces,
it's basically like an X Spaces. It's audio only, and you can bring people up on stage, and share the stage with people, and it's a great way to meet new people and to collaborate with other influencers or content creators, whatever you want to call them.
And they have app stores with all kinds of apps in there, and they have the trading arena now where you can trade perpetual futures and different assets.
And we're not affiliated with the arena at all. We're not getting incentivized, paid. Anybody that watches us more than 2 minutes knows that that's just not something that we do. And if we ever did, we would make sure that you knew that. But no, nothing like that. This is just a cool platform. It allows free speech. I would love to get off of YouTube and a lot of those other ones, but that's where the eyeballs are at. So,
yeah, trying to help grow, a good social platform. And I'm also on here as well. And I wanted, before we dive into everything, I want to share this. Let me know if you can hear it. So this is going to be great for everyone that's been struggling with the markets. So
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Let's see.
Is it a rap? Are you happy? Are you happy?
I'm not.
Oh, it's not.
I can hear it.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I cannot. But that's okay. As long as you can hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not searching for happiness. I'm searching for peace. If there's happiness, there is sadness. If something can rise, something must fall. Yep. If you can attain something, there's something to lose. That's why it's difficult. That's why I stopped a moment. I don't know what type of happiness you mean. Being satisfied with where I'm standing, yes. Does it mean that I don't have hard moments? I have hard moments. And that's why for me, like, what is it I ultimately look for? I would call it's just peace.
Yeah. Wise words.
My whole philosophy, dude. That if I was to summarize my whole life philosophy into words, that would be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course you're going to have hard times, but
that's just part of life. But like what he's talking about is if you're always looking for these extreme highs, you're going to have extreme lows. It's just, that chaos, that volatility. But if you just look for peace, if you just, look, and that doesn't mean that you don't want to challenge yourself. It doesn't mean that you need to coast. It just means that you need to surround yourself with peace. You need to have a solid foundation in which to accomplish things. If you're on uneven ground, shaky ground all the time, you're not going to be able to build anything. You got to have peace if you want to build. So anyway.
Yep.
All right. So let's pull that down and then let's do a little of this action. And so really what I want to talk about is there's a kind of a list of projects that I put together, and I'll rattle them off real quick and we can get into some of them. But these are projects. So these projects generate revenue from borrowing fees and allocate portions to holders. So you have Aave, Maple, Fluid, Venus, JustLend. I really haven't looked into. But then you have DEXs, or the aggregator protocols that share fees. You got Jupiter, Hyperliquid, Aerodrome, GMX, and Orca. And there could be more. This is just the ones that I was able to find. And then liquid staking and derivatives. You got Stride and Bifrost. And then other notable projects, you got MakerDAO, BNB Chain, Rollbit, Tron, Coin Metro, never heard of it. And then one of my favorites, Canton Network. And then projects poised for implementation of some sort of revenue share or something similar. Lido, Arbitrum, and Uniswap. So I'd kind of like to start with the largest ones, being Aave and Uniswap. What are you thinking?
Yeah, might as well start with the heavy hitters.
All right. So we got Aave. So the mechanism that it has is buybacks. Basically it allocates approximately $50 million annually from fees for token buybacks, distributing value by reducing circulating supply. So basically, in a nutshell, what a buyback is, if you don't know, is that the protocol, through the fees that it generates, from people doing swaps and things like that, they take that revenue and they actually buy their own token and either burn it, lock it away, whatever. And that takes tokens out of circulation, which potentially can drive the price up. There's an actual part of the tokenomics and the mechanics that contribute to the potential of the price to go up. And that's what the topic of this episode is. Because there's a lot of projects out there, and I'll name a few of them here in a second. And I want Jeff to go first. There's a lot of projects out there that the company, the organization that developed the technology and launched the token, very bullish. I see them doing great things. But is there a way in the tokenomics or the mechanics or the fundamentals that success is shared with the token holders? Because otherwise, you're freely giving your liquidity, your money, to these companies to build their company with absolutely nothing back. These are not stocks. They are not tied to the success of the company. There was a whole lawsuit about it. That where the SEC went after XRP, and XRP had the money to actually fight them. Other companies went out of business. They actually fought them and won. Judge Torres ruled that XRP and like tokens are not a security. The SEC just came out and had a formal announcement that if something wasn't, like, as far as tokenization, if something is a security before it's tokenized, it's a security after. If it's not a security before it's tokenized, it's not a security after. You need to understand this because they have no fiduciary responsibility. They have no legal responsibility for you to profit from buying their token. If you bought their stock, they have a responsibility to make a profit by law.
Mm-hmm.
They have to do everything within their power to ensure that you make a profit. With tokens, there's nothing like that. So that is what this is about, is we really, with the way the market is, we're towards the bottom. Not saying this is the bottom, but we're definitely bottomish. You know, we're bottom adjacent. So what I'm saying is now might, I'm not giving financial advice. This is something I'm looking at. I might be selling a lot of these other projects, and one of them I'm going to talk about, Link. I'm thinking about potentially selling all of my Link after doing this research. And I'm thinking about going all in on some other ones. Not all in, but like 3 or 4 top ones. So Jeff, let me punt over to you and let you chatter for a bit. What are your thoughts?
I was thinking of the black token because I was in the Discord quite a bit, you know, and seeing people talk about it over the past few months and just saying like the amount of emissions it has. I mean, you're basically earning a lot of black tokens, but you're basically exit liquidity or giving away your liquidity to the protocol. And it's just, what is it really doing for you, you know, or for the protocol itself generating revenue? You know, and there's a ton of different spins and flavors like that, you know, these tokens are created, and there's been airdrops recently of projects that, you know, they don't really need a token. It's just, they're doing it just because. And
they launched one because they can sell it and make money.
Yeah.
You know, it's they're not doing anything illegal. And
the shareholder thing, I mean, it, you know, that it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know, you want the company to make money and people that invest in it to make money, but like the healthcare stocks companies, it kind of comes at a cost. You know, these people, they deny coverage and stuff, and they're like, well, we need to make the numbers look good, so, you know, we got to do whatever we can to prop up the stock. But, you know, if we have to pay hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in people's benefits, then that cuts into our bottom line. And all it's, you know, really bad to, you know, have to be forced.
It's a double-edged sword. Absolutely.
But,
and personally, I don't think that, you know, those type of companies, insurance companies, should be able to have stock. You know,
right.
it's, you know, yeah, they got to keep the lights on and stuff like that. But, you know, honestly, I mean,
if you're providing a service that comes at a cost of a human life,
if you're providing a service, one that's mandatory, that you're, you know, basically you're forced by the government to get, you know,
yeah,
there should be people profiting from it. You know what I mean? You know, if something is mandated, we won't go down that road. All right. Sorry. I've you know, I pre-gamed a little bit. So
I was thinking Fauci, his first thing.
So let's go into a little bit of news of what I got a little bit of alpha here. Let me share that real quick, and then we'll kick everything else off. Let me share my screen. Let's go over to this one. All right. So, Jeff actually brought this to my attention earlier today. It looks like the former SafeMoon CEO got sentenced to prison. So, Tuesday to 100 months. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I like 5 or 6 years.
For 8 years. 100 months.
Yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah, my math's off. So yeah, he got a decent amount of time for siphoning millions from SafeMoon to fund a lavish lifestyle. So those that don't remember, freaking, that whole Safe Moon debacle. It's a project I never got into, but
I remember watching the AMAs and stuff, man.
Yeah.
On-chain payments, identity.
So this is a little bit of an ad from Kita, but it articulates very well, one of the reasons why I am personally bullish on it and why I'm bullish on similar projects that have a lot of functionality built in natively, like KYC, AML, things like that. So let's take a look.
Hey, where is our lead developer? Look at that face. That is the face of someone stitching together a fragmented stack. Payments, identity, KYC verifications. On most networks, you're on your own, unless you build on Kita. We don't force you to build bridges. We built them for you. Through anchors, Kita connects on-chain payments, identity, compliance, and more to a single blockchain network. They aren't plugins, they're native. This means you stop fixing and start shipping. The architecture is ready. Build on Kita.
This is the kind of thing I'm talking about is, these are the types of projects that I look for. I look for projects that, I call them fundamentals. I believe it's what everybody calls them, but good, fundamentally strong projects with, again, the tokenomics attached that somehow some of that revenue, some of that success makes its way back to token holders. So Kita is one of the ones that I'm looking to plus up my bags on. I am earning Kita, with some DeFi plays, but I'm thinking about just, basically selling some of my other holdings and buying some more Kita. Do you have any that you're looking at that you might offload? And
I've pretty much, moved out of a lot of stuff, at the end of last year, just because, I wanted to consolidate after the October 10th crash. I mean, that was a disaster, and I just really wanted to consolidate. But Kita, they haven't announced that bank that they bought yet, have they?
Not by name, not that I've seen anyway. But yes, they did buy a bank though. So
it's not a neo. Was it a neo bank or an actual?
I do not know. I do not know. Hey, welcome everybody in the chat. We got, Nick Dunn, we got Jay, we got Ellie, we got Millie, we got Crypto Stevo, got a bunch of people, got a couple people over on Arena. I know.
Shout out new Millie Tedito.
So I want to take my hat off to all of you because
Maximus.
There is a ton of reasons to not be interested in crypto right now. It's, everybody's down, for the most part, everybody's down. Some people are out, some people are just straight cashed out. They're done with crypto. There is almost no interest in crypto. And all of you that are listening are sticking it out. And, when it comes to resilience, you got it. So keep your head up, keep putting one foot in front of the other, as far as your investing, your education, your finance, and it will pay off eventually. If you're paying attention and you're looking at these types of projects, and not to say that you should invest in anything that we talk about tonight, but if you're doing your research the way that, we teach you that we do ours, looking at and using DeFi Llama, using RWA.XYZ, actual data, looking into the projects, using AI to scrub the white papers. If you don't want to read the whole thing, load it into AI. Say, summarize the white paper for me. How does the tokenomics work? And if I buy the token, how is it, how is that success? How is that revenue, potentially going to make its way to token holders, if at all? It will give you a good idea. Do you want to double check? Absolutely. But it will give you an idea of, is it even part of the tokenomics? Do they even claim it's a possibility? It will save you a lot of time.
Yeah. And Stevo, so I know recently we were talking about, or last week, we were talking about the layer twos and the need for them, and how Vitalik was saying that, they're starting to scale Ethereum to where the fees are going to be cheaper and it's going to be more efficient and stuff. And I know there's been a lot of talk, like I've even talked about layer 2s being way too many. And I saw Colin made a post or something earlier today or yesterday that was saying, why is base even needed as a layer 2? And some of these like Canton.
Mouth, Colin.
I know. So, there's going to be a lot of layer 2s and even some layer 1s that aren't going to be needed. And it does extract a lot of liquidity and just spreads it out and makes it kind of painful. But yeah, there are going to be some specific niches that are needed. Kita that has their oracles, they have their own oracles built in and they don't need Chainlink. And Canton, they have all their stuff kind of built in for regulatory framework and institutions and stuff.
Yes,
but also retail,
upgradability, security, privacy, KYC, AML, just all of those things that it was purpose built for that use case, to be the network for siloed, or separate networks, basically be the internet of the financial system. Secure private, internet for the financial system. But Aerodrome, highlights from last week, 806,000 Aero were bought back. And this is what I'm talking about. Aerodrome is another one that anybody that watches me for more than 5 minutes, it's my largest holding. And it's one of two that I'm still in the green on because of how much I earn by holding Aero and putting it in Aero locks. So, to me, with what they're building and what they're about to launch here in the beginning of Q2 with the new platform and it being multi-chain and they're adding a ton of new functionality and they already have added a bunch of new functionality. I'm very bullish on it, but do your own research. But 856,000 Aero were bought back last week. AI pool efficiency was launched. So basically it's being managed by AI now, just to ensure the efficiency of the liquidity that's, across the different pools, that makes sure that it goes where it needs to go. Aero in the Aragon project token framework, Superform XYZ inbound. I need to look that up. You want to?
Oh yeah, they just had their airdrop actually, and
okay,
and it was so there's a guy that is an airdrop farmer and he deposited like 9,000 in liquidity, on and off, like accumulated volume, and he spent 2 years farming this Superform airdrop and ended up getting like a few $100s. And only 80 of it was unlocked right now.
That sucks, dude.
So he's pivoting from airdrops to just trading now.
Dude, airdrops have been rough for you guys.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Yeah, because we were trying to do the whole thing at the very beginning when we started, when they were still profitable. We were doing the whole thing where you were going to do a bunch of airdrops and give me the tokens, the liquidity. I was going to DeFi it. We were going to show everybody how smart it was to do airdrops and then do DeFi, and you can basically build a free portfolio, and fucking that shit never materialized.
I'm still got a bunch of stuff that I've been farming for 6 months to a year, and it's still like, okay.
Well, and I mean, shit, my bag is down, from where it was, I'm doing DeFi and I'm stacking tokens. I have way more tokens than I used to, but it's everything's down. You gotta fucking, you gotta nug through the hard times if you want the good times, so, this is the volatility, that little monk dude that was talking at the beginning, he was talking about, if you want peace, then you're not gonna be super successful. You're not gonna be down in the dumps. But if you want to, if you want violence always, You know, like that fucking African dude with the armor on. He's like, I want violence. I want violence always. Then you know, choose violence. Get into crypto. You know, there's lots of violence here. So, all right. So Surge, AI super cycle flywheel incoming. Together with Base and Aerodrome, we're bringing real AI on chain. Have to look into this. All right. What else we got? Oh, the future of flight school. Let's take a look at what this is all about. Announcing the transition from flight school to the Momentum Fund. Have we covered this?
Yeah. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, we
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
Canton, for the first time, a global enterprise has completed a real world payroll using private stablecoins on Canton Network, combining use Toku's global payroll logic with Cantor 8's secure employee wallet infrastructure. The transaction marks the foundational shift into core operational workflows. So we can click on this and read it if everybody wants, but in a nutshell, it's going to allow a lot more flexibility when it comes to payroll. So if you work, say, you do piecemeal work and you want to get paid daily, if you want to get paid hourly, if you want to get paid weekly, monthly, whatever, with it being on chain, the logic, the smart contract can be built out to when you're hired. They, part of your onboarding is, that smart contract of your pay plan. And, if you hit certain milestones, like if you're in sales and you hit certain milestones to where it's like, I got the company $500,000 in new business, this quarter, then it triggers automatically your bonus. You don't ever have to worry about if you're going to get your bonus you were promised. A raise, they could build in that, time-wise, if for every year you're with the company, you get a 10% raise, a 5% raise, whatever. And it's all built in. So payroll on chain can be a very positive thing. It could be a very negative thing too. I mean, it can, it gives a lot of transparency. So I would hope that they would have, some layers of privacy in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the payroll stuff, you do want some privacy built in. That's where you want the privacy. So that way people can't see how much other people are getting paid or, what they're making. And also you don't want people to know your wallet, because be doxxed and they could be like, oh, that person, has a nice little bag. So I'm going to go visit him at home and try and extort him or something crazy, So, yeah, it's just, that's the kind of privacy that you want.
And I think this is the last thing that I got. This is on Canton as far as news.
Blockchains rewarded those who got in early, while builders and users were left behind. Canton flips the script. Introducing Tokenomics, the tokenomics powering a fairer network. 2/3 of rewards flow straight to builders and users, those creating real network value. So, what is Canton Coin? It's Canton Network's native utility token, the fuel that powers and rewards the ecosystem. For builders, it's a revenue model that scales. Charge transaction fees, earn continuously, reward loyalty, and drive transparency into network value, all while preserving privacy. Tokenomics rewards utility, not speculation, recognizing builders and users who create real value. The more useful your app, the more you earn. Build, earn, scale, repeat. That's the flywheel of real utility. And it's sustainable by design, a burn and mint balance that keeps supply aligned with real demand. When app fees are burned, new coins are minted, keeping the system naturally in check. Discover and build apps, powered by Tokenomics.
So let's see, let me take this down real quick and go back over, so something that's important to understand, and this is the third one on my list. KTA, Aerodrome, and we'll get into more. I'll get into more detail here in a minute about what I like about them. But Canton, it has a unique tokenomics, to where it has a burn mint mechanism built in. And we went over this with Shaw when he did the interview. He's the former COO and co-founder of Digital Assets, who is the maker of Canton Network, or of Canton Network. So there's a burn mint mechanism, and the more the network is used, and that's why I wanted to show this, is it's important that there is network adoption for the tokenomics of Canton, because the more the network is used and the more fees that are being paid, the more is being burned. Because all the fees, 100% of the fees that are paid are burned. This is one of the fairest launches that I ever have seen in crypto. The team kept none of the tokens. Early investors, VCs, and that sort of thing, they got 0 tokens. 100% of the tokens went out to retail, just out into the market. Nobody held any tokens. It was one of the fairest launches I've ever seen. And with this burn mint mechanism, there's a thing called equilibrium. And last I looked, we were at 0.75 at a full value of 1. That means an equal amount is being burned that is being minted. So you come to a stability as it pertains to the amount of tokens in circulation. Now, if the network keeps growing and more fees are generated, then it's going to start burning more than are minted. So it becomes deflationary. So less and less tokens will be in circulation, potentially, not guaranteed. I'm always honest here. It's not guaranteed, but potentially, because there's less tokens in circulation, it could mean price appreciation. That is one of the reasons that I am bullish on Canton, because just in the past couple of months, we went from like 0.16, I think it was, to 0.7, 0.75, 0.74, somewhere around there where we're at right now. Just a little bit, a nudge more of network usage because of builders, people building dApps and building projects, on the Canton network. We can get pushed over that threshold. We've seen how well the price of Canton has held up through this bloodbath. Mm-hmm. It's not all-time highs, but it's at a higher price than it was before all of this chaos.
It's up on the year.
It's up on the year. So I mean, take that, with a grain of salt, but there's not too many projects. KTA is another one. And one of the reasons why my eyeballs have, kind of refixated on it. We talked about it quite a bit a while back. But the price went down quite a bit with the rest of the market. But I think that with where we're at with legislation, where we're at with adoption, and I think a lot of the institutions out there are realizing where the actual value is. Who can actually provide the services that they need that are compliant, with regulators. And there's only a few out there. Canton's one, KTA's one. Both of them have gotten the ominous dominus from regulatory bodies like the SEC, the Fed, with different licenses. Plume is another one that I still have my entire bag, even though its price is in the shitters, because of what I see that they've built with, basically a full network for RWAs, with, protocols and, bridges to base and, just built in. It's a really cool network. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful though.
Yeah. Partnerships, they've done a lot of work on the back end.
Oh, hey, Drew's in the chat. Hey, Drew, you want to jump on, man? We're talking about what we were talking about a little while back. Basically, focusing on projects, maybe shifting around portfolios to projects that actually pay, money back to token holders through, revenue share or, through buybacks and stuff like that. Because I'll be honest, there's some projects that I'm holding, and one of them's Link. Let's get into that. And we've talked about some of the stuff I'm bullish on, but
would you say that Arrow has the best tokenomics and use case for holders?
What's that?
Crypto Stevo was wondering if Arrow has the best tokenomics and use case for hodlers.
Out of the ones that I'm invested in, yes. Out of all of them, I wouldn't want to say, because there's so many projects out there that might not even be successful in any way whatsoever, but they just have awesome tokenomics. It's just, you got to find that that diamond in the rough, it has the technology, it has the adoption, it has the tokenomics, it has just all the ingredients to make something delicious. You know what I mean? But but because some of them, they just don't have all the ingredients. They might have, like with Bitcoin, it's not a solve all. It's a great store of wealth because of the security aspect, but it can't be for everyday use. It just, the chain takes too long. It doesn't have the speed. Yeah. All it has is security. So you got to find those projects. But Link, I was looking into Link, and it's everywhere. The company Chainlink is working with, Swift. They are working with Canton Network. They're working with just about fucking everybody. They're Chainlink's everywhere. They're partnered with everybody, like actively. It not just that they're in talks or there's rumors of, they're actually tied into a lot of these projects. Their technology is. But is there anything in the tokenomics that shares that success with token holders? I wasn't able to find anything. I mean, do you know anything, or should we pull up Miles?
No, let's pull up Miles.
All right. Ask and ye shall receive.
Drew said Link peeps are real pissed at me for getting out of the way on the dip.
Did you sell your Chainlink, Drew?
They said there's a clear connected chain. Link, like such a clear connected chain, but that revenue looking flat at 1.2.
Drew says it's fine. We're in FUD season. If you have hate in your heart, let it out. Yeah. Hate. This is the haters ball. We're about to throw some hate.
What is it? Oh my God, on Married with Children.
Oh, you're talking about Al Bundy?
Yeah. What was that club that they had?
The He-Man Woman Haters?
Yeah, the Woman Haters.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club?
Oh, man. He's one of my favorite characters, man.
Yeah.
Ed O'Neill is so great.
All right. Okay. So let's ask, do we want to ask Miles, or okay, 1 in the chat if we ask Miles, 2 in the chat if we ask Maya. I'm gonna wait. One for Miles, 2 for Maya.
Oh yeah, he got out of most of it, about $11 to $12.
What is it at now?
I don't know. And Jay said, "Fall on the sword for the community." Drew.
Yeah, Drew, how dare you? You're the captain. You should go down with the ship. All right. Oh, we got a 1 and we got a 2. We need a tiebreaker here. Always Maya. All right, let's go with Maya. Let's see.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Maya. How are you doing?
See ya.
How you doing?
All good, thanks. Just hanging out. What's going on with you today?
So Maya, we got a question for you. We're talking about crypto, and we're talking about projects that are tokenomics wise, that benefit token holders, people that buy the token for the crypto project, that actually pay dividends back to the holders, or in some way the success of the company actually translates through profits to the token holders. But I'm curious, there are projects out there, for instance, Chainlink, that is working with a lot of different companies. They're fully integrated into companies like Swift. They're working with Canton Network. That's basically a network for the financial system. They're working with a lot of different people. But is there anything in the tokenomics for the Chainlink token link? The ticker is Lima India November Kilo. Could you look and see if there's anything in the tokenomics that allows the success of the company, the revenue or the fees they generate, for that value or that liquidity to in part or in whole make it back to the token holders?
Give me a sec to check on that for you.
I know that's
okay.
long.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can stake your link and potentially earn up to around 9% APY. And there's the fact that node operators need to stake link to ensure reliable data provision. If they give bad data, they lose those staked tokens. Plus some Chainlink. Oh, right. Sorry about that. It seems like there was some audio trouble there. You were saying something about slashing?
That's just what it's called, Maya. It's just whenever they are penalized, node operators that are staking to be nodes, whenever they do something wrong, it's called slashing. It's the penalty.
Okay, got it. Slashing. Right, that's the penalty for unreliable data. Mm-hmm. So essentially, link holders benefit through the staking rewards and the security the system maintains through those penalties.
Well, so the token holders would not benefit from slashing or, from the node validators at all. They would, however, earn from staking. But so potentially, yes, I guess that would be the way that you could profit from holding the token. So basically using DeFi. Now, if the price of the token goes up or down, that is another variable that you gotta look at. So a little something to think about. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me pull up my notes. All right, we got Maple Finance. Looks like 20 to 25% of protocol revenue is used to buy back tokens and reward staked syrup stakers, providing yields tied to platform earnings. That's similar, actually a little bit more than what you earn on Aerodrome. I mean, like right now, with the VE Aero locks, it's around 20%. Last time I looked. So, I mean, that's very respectful, or respectable, to get a 20 to 25%, annual return on an investment. In traditional markets, 10% is considered stellar in a year. So if you're earning like double, or time and a half, freaking, time or time and a half, that might be might be a good one. Maple, and its syrup token has actually done quite well. So there's that.
Maple's been around a while too.
They have. I know Drew was talking about them there for a while. JustLend. I don't know anything about JustLend, but 30% of revenue funds quarterly, the JST token is burned, with the first in October of 2025 removing $17.7 million worth, or 5.66% of the supply. If I looked at the fundamentals of the project and they looked good, I mean, that might be something to look at. I don't know anything about it, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. But, anybody out there, let me know in the chat.
Yeah, Colin's in the arena. What up, Colin?
Hey, what's up, Colin? What the hell is going on in the chat? I looked over and we got people talking about M&Ms and meat and
no, because I said
what the hell?
And Jay wanted Miles, and I was like, "You want the Miles meat?
get a room." All right. All right, let's see. Yeah, like we are in a room. We're in DeFi crypto and airdrops room. All right, Jupiter. 50% of protocol fees buy back Jupiter tokens on the open market, placing them in a long-term reserve to reduce effective supply. Sounds very similar to Aerodrome, except that Aerodrome uses 100%. Hyperliquid, 54% of revenue buys back hype tokens, with the remainder incentivizing liquidity, which is what Aerodrome does, designed for deflationary pressure. So it looks like, hype potentially incentivizes liquidity providers, using their token. Again, very similar to Aerodrome. And then, of course, the one that's always on my mind, Aerodrome. 100% of trading fees are distributed directly to VE Arrow holders. Those of you that are locked know what I'm talking about. Based on governance votes, 30% of protocol revenue funds buybacks, which are then max locked for 4 years into VE Arrow locks to enhance long-term alignment and reduce circulating supply. So the tokenomics are that the Aerodrome platform, whenever anybody does a swap or does anything on the platform, they pay a fee. 100% of those fees go to incentivize people like myself and those in our community that are providing liquidity via VE Arrow locks. Anything that's not paid out to us is they buy Arrow tokens, off the market. And I don't know if it's off the market. They buy back tokens. I'm not sure what the mechanics are of that. So I don't want to get too wordy with it. But they then take those and they max lock those. So unless the new platform has a way for us to harvest our yield and not just have it auto compound back into our locks, effectively, any new Arrow being minted isn't going into circulation. All of it gets, basically relocked. So it's that, these tokens that are being, this infinite supply that everyone's so scared of, at least for the short term, none of these tokens are going out into the market. They're all being max locked or being relocked, into these VE Arrow locks or locked by the protocol in fresh locks, new locks. How many times can I say lock in the same fucking breath? Lock.
Bomb.
Yeah, bomb. Yes, Wispy, I do have wet dreams about Arrow. Yes. Arrow is in my closet with a ball gag right now.
Plus those lock loads. Lock in the load.
Lock and load. Oh, Drew's talking about his Sequoia. All right.
Alpaca Dex gives 30% of fees to holders.
Yeah, that Alpaca. So I have a bunch of Alpaca from fuck, I'm drawing a blank. What? Holy hell, why can I not remember that project? I have a bunch of it. DAG, Constellation DAG. So DAG holders, we ended up getting a bunch of Alpaca because the Dex, the Alpaca Dex, is on DAG, Constellation DAG. And they're the ones that have Project Iron Spider with the government Space Force. Yeah, US Space Force and US Air Force. It's an encryption that they're looking at using, they're currently using and been developing for the past couple of years. I'm guessing with like DARPA or something. Yeah. But the deal is with that though, that's another one I need to look into. Is there anything in the tokenomics where me holding the DAG token, or is it just a gas token that is, paid to use the network? Is it deflationary at all to where, the price will go up at some point? I need to look deeper on some of these projects. And I'm kind of ashamed to say it. You know, it's like I honestly thought that there was another, bull run, in the mix to where, a lot of these projects that I was going to make a bunch of money, I wasn't too worried about it because I was going to, cash out and I was going to be in stables and, earning 10, 20, 30% on stables and just, stacking things like Bitcoin and Canton and Aerodrome and, things that I was super bullish on. And that's why I held a lot of these bags because, I figured, one or two of them, would do something, but and I'm just being real with you. I don't have a crystal ball. I've said it from the beginning. I'm chronicling my journey, mistakes and successes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down just like the rest of you. I mean, not as much as a lot of people because I've been earning with DeFi. Thank God. My portfolio would look like straight dog shit if I, hadn't been earning in DeFi. But, I still have a decent sized portfolio because, because I've been stacking for the past, year or so, stacking Aerodrome. I mean, I'm still in the green, like 17 grand on Aerodrome. I'm still 17 grand in profit just on Aerodrome. Canton, I'm up like a grand or two, because I mean, it really hasn't moved a whole lot. It's held up really well, but those are the two that I'm in the green on. The rest of them, I'm, looks like, I'd say overall, I'm about 50, no, not 50, about 40% down. My portfolio is about 40 to 50% down from, my entry. So, I'm in the negative about we'll just say 50%.
But you're basically DCAing,
yeah,
from DeFi. So
I have much more tokens than I had, back, when I was, buying this stuff. So if we go back even to where, we were at before, I'm going to probably be like a 2, maybe even 3x, if we just go back to, where some of these projects were before, if Aerodrome goes back to $2.20, I mean, we're at 30 cents right now.
yeah,
if we go back to $2.20, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7, 8x, on Aerodrome. Yeah. So that would be, I'd have almost 100 grand just in freaking Aerodrome. So, yeah, that's another little switch that I had to switch in my head was to stop thinking of my holdings in terms of dollar value and start looking at them in terms of their value, either relative to Bitcoin or just the amount of tokens, just ensuring that the amount of tokens that I have in these projects are always going up. Because if they're fundamentally strong projects that are getting adopted and getting built on, that are growing, that are, compliant with the regulations that are coming, that, all tick all those boxes, they're at least going to stick around. It doesn't mean they're going to be wildly successful. It doesn't mean they're going to be the next Microsoft or, Amazon. But again, all we have to do is pick 2 or 3 good ones. You can have 10 or, I wouldn't suggest any more than that, but 10 or so different projects. If you hit, if you have, a good portion in Bitcoin and maybe some Ethereum, and then you pick like 2 or 3 altcoins that you're really bullish on, and you just hit on 1 or 2 of them, you're set. I mean, you're going to make some good money over time. If you have the discipline to sit on your hands, you're going to make some good money over time.
Yep.
All right. What's going on in this chat? My buddy is crashing out. It still did on the papers coming.
DOD. Jay said something about the Department of Defense, and I was saying Department of War, but I guess it's not official. The Department of War, it's still DOD.
Oh, gotcha.
And Steve-O was saying he works for him, but don't tell anyone. It'll ruin his cypherpunk image.
Oh,
and
me?
I said, he's just saying it in the chat.
Oh, no, that I work for the government?
No, Steve-O.
thought you meant me. I'm like, not anymore, man. It's like I escaped that shit.
I said I would change it to the Department of Dick because we're coming to fuck you.
Oh,
everyone.
no, the Department of Strap-on Services.
Strap-on services.
Yes, we are coming for you.
I ran about to find out quick.
Right? What? FAFO? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to this. So we've reached the hour, but I still got a little bit I want to put out.
What you got?
Oh,
you got one more to put out?
I want to put out. All right. So Canton Network. We talked about that. Uniswap. So those of you that don't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't if you're in crypto, Uniswap, they've been going toe to toe with Aerodrome. Reason being is Aerodrome being only single chain on base for the most part. Uniswap is multi-chain. I believe they also use the OP stack, that allows them to be multi-chain. Same as Velodrome. Now, Aerodrome is about to merge with Velodrome on the new Aerodrome platform coming up here in the next couple of months. And Aerodrome is going to become multi-chain. Aerodrome has a great partnership with Coinbase. Those of you that didn't see the news, I believe Aave, they partnered up with, was it Kraken or it was another DEX or centralized exchange, excuse me. I'm pretty sure it was Kraken, to where they're doing what Coinbase is doing with Morpho, where they are offering lending and borrowing, crypto lending and borrowing. So if you have Bitcoin on Kraken or the DEX that's using Aave, then you can lend out your Bitcoin and earn yield. Or you can borrow. So you can use your liquidity as collateral, and you can do a basically click and you can borrow money, or another crypto. Like say you want to buy Bitcoin because there's a dip and you want to use your Ethereum to do it. You can do that. That's something that Coinbase is already doing. Now, I see it coming. Uniswap, if they haven't already, they are going to partner with a centralized exchange because it's the only way that they're going to be able to survive. Because Aerodrome is doing it with Coinbase. That's what I see coming. And they're going to have perpetuals. They're going to have, all that. They're going to have vaults. They're going to have institutional vaults that you can invest in. They're going to have, obviously liquidity provision, where you can provide liquidity. You can do swaps, single click or, very simple, entry and exit from liquidity pools without the bridging and the swapping and, all of that stuff, all the, the complicated stuff that we have to do now. A lot of these projects are going to have to evolve if they're not forward leaning, if they're not forward thinking. Like a lot of these, Canton was very forward leaning. They've been building quietly for over a decade. The whole time XRP was talking about that they were going to be the cross-border remittances and the cross-border payment chain, Canton was building in the background quiet as a church mouse. And they launched with a vengeance, left XRP in the dust when it comes to, its ability to do it all and be fully compliant. And all the functionality is native to it. They don't need to have Flare network for smart contracts. They don't need to have all these layer twos to, for privacy or for KYC AML. Projects like Canton Network, like Aerodrome, they thought into the future and they realized that they were going to have certain things. Akita, same thing. They got that KYC and the privacy layer built in, like Canton Network does. These are the projects that you need to pay attention to. They're the projects I'm paying attention to. All right. What do we? Oh, basement. Your post got shadowed. Oh shit. What did you do this time, Drew?
Oh no, it's he thinks this will get your attention pretty good. This let me share this real quick. It's
Hold on, I'll be right back. You go ahead and take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
So the guy who built Anthropic's defense against AI bioterrorism just quit. Mrinak Sharma led Anthropic's safeguards research team. His job was literally making sure Claude doesn't help bad actors do bad things. So his resignation letter, the world is in peril, and not just from AI or bioweapons, but from a whole series of interconnected crises. He also said repeatedly, he repeatedly seen how hard it is to truly let our values govern our actions inside the organization. So this is the company that positioned itself as the safe AI lab. The one founded specifically because OpenAI wasn't careful enough. Now their safety lead is walking away saying the pressure to set aside what matters most is real. He's leaving to study poetry, not joining a competitor, not starting a startup. Poetry. When your AI safety researcher chooses poems over production, that tells you something about what's happening behind closed doors.
Yeah, for real.
So,
all right. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we could end with that. Friggin' Crypto Stevo wants me to list off from best to worst. All right. Well,
real quick, I did get somebody tagged me in this on Twitter about Kita. So somebody alerted him to this on Kita GitHub, and they're building out support, quote unquote support more Rails. So these names are literally showing up in the code on GitHub. Now they're not saying that Kita has partnerships with these companies, but it does tell you what direction this is headed. So Kita is building the system so payments can plug into the same Rails people already use in the real world. So they have mobile wallets, money apps, Airtel Money, MTN Mobile Money, Jazz Cash, Easy, Pisa, Bcash, Nagad. I don't know what all these are, but Naya Pay, PayPal, Venmo. So, and there's all kinds of stuff internationally. So, yeah, GitHub can be a pretty good place, for you to find some alpha if you know what to look for. So, yeah, just some developer stuff that, just because the names aren't out there doesn't mean you can't find it in the code being developed.
Yeah. No,
very
absolutely.
interesting.
All right. Well, let's put this up. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you my top. Here, let's see. I'll tell you my top 4. Yeah, my top 4. So Aerodrome is my largest holding, but eventually I want to have the majority of my bag in Bitcoin. And by majority, I mean like 50%. I'll probably keep like 10 or 15% in ETH, and then the rest of it will be in stables, just to earn off of. But the 4 tokens that I really want to consolidate into after, really assessing the tokenomics and, being able to earn from holding the token, both from DeFi through, staking and lending and, providing liquidity or, like with the Braun wallet, earning Canton there, those sorts of things. And keep in mind, it's not just the tokenomics alone. It's the fundamentals, who's adopting them, who's building on them, who's not in talks and not rumored, who's actually using their network, how much TVL is actively on and being moved on that, data analytics, go to rwa.xyz, go to DeFi Llama and nerd the fuck out, find your project and dig into the numbers. It's all there. The data, don't listen to social media. Social media is going to tell you whatever, everybody has a motive behind what they're doing. They're trying to pump their own bags. They're getting incentivized in some way. It's there's a ton of it out there. You know, they have marketing teams. It's ridiculous. So really look at the projects, look at the fundamentals, look at the pain point that they're addressing. Who is it that is adopting them? You know, who is it that's building on them? You know, who is it that's moving liquidity? Who's moving value? So anyway, sorry, rambling on that, but the 4: Aerodrome, Canton, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and and one more, Kita. So 3 altcoins, Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's as soon as I can. If there's some sort of escape pump, I think I'm gonna sell out of my Chainlink, the rest of my Casper, probably Ondo. I might hold my Plume. I'm holding out on Plume. There's so much fucking potential there. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'll keep my small bag of Solana too.
The Plume could be like your moon bag. Just, I mean, you've already.
It'll be my meme coin. It'll be my meme coin. I'm a big fan.
Your goon bag is my Plume goons. Your
right,
goon bag.
Right. So, what's yours? If you had to pick Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 3 altcoins and a project that you just love, but it's basically a meme coin, what's yours?
I mean, those, over the past 3 months, those have been ones I'm leaning more towards, just accumulating as much as I can.
Yeah.
Just because, we've talked about all of them so much, and they just seem to have much better fundamentals and what they're building, compared to all these other layer 2 networks that are just hogwash and protocols that don't really give value back to their token holders. They're just extracting. And yeah, and any of these airdrops that I get that are basically dust, I mean, I'll move those into these assets as well, just because it's better than them keep going down.
Well, and I want to point out, this episode would not be complete without me bashing XRP.
Yep.
So, Hoofty, we've been boys since like when I first got into crypto, and I got into XRP. I had over 40,000 XRP. I was freaking sure I was going to get rich on XRP. I made a lot of money on XRP. Don't get me wrong. But I believed all the hype that it had to be the high valuation. But me and Hoofty, we were in Good Morning Crypto. It's almost all they talk about is, I don't know how they come up with content for every show talking about XRP. Hats off to them. Awesome bunch of guys, positive energy, great group of people. But holy shit, I would lose my mind talking about XRP that much. I digress. XRP is one of those. It used to be where the tokenomics supported a high valuation on the XRP token, because if RippleNet, that's built on the XRP ledger, was ever adopted by banks to do cross-border remittances and all that stuff, and XRP was the only token on the network to move that value, that liquidity, it only makes sense. If there's trillions of dollars moving around the globe every day, and there's only so many XRP in circulation, each one of those XRPs has got to have a decent valuation. It's got to be worth at least a couple of bucks, if not, $10 or $20 to be able to move that type of liquidity around and have, have them available. So, anyway, but then they launched RLUSD, the stable coin. By the way, like last I looked, like 60% or more of RLUSD isn't even on the XRPL. It's on the Ethereum mainnet. It's not, RLUSD isn't even most of it being used on its own fucking chain. So Ripple is going to be very successful, I think, as a company. But and I'll close on this. This is my final thoughts. Like I've always said, there is nothing in the tokenomics anymore on XRP to where it needs to be worth anything. It takes 0.00001 XRP to pay for a transaction. It's a fraction of a cent, and yes, it's burned, permanently, but it would take decades, maybe even longer, before with massive network usage. And people have done the math on it. Look it up. To where it wouldn't even barely move the needle on the price of XRP, because banks and institutions didn't want to use XRP because of the volatility to move value. That's why they launched RLUSD. I mean, Ripple has kind of gone quiet on anything other than announcing different shit it's doing to become a bank. I haven't heard of them going after banks, for partnerships or adoption to, for their Ripple net. So anyway, I can go on about it for fucking ever, as you know. But what's your final thoughts, brother?
Jay said ADA, XRP, and Stack Nasty.
They're all dirty. They're all dirty, naughty little girls.
So Drew said Bitcoin, Canton, Morpho, Tau have most of his interests. Tau's a good one. That's a sleeper. Let's see.
I'd have to look at Tau's. I know that I'm wanting to say that David is a Tau fan, and if he's a fan, it means that there's something in the tokenomics that makes its way. Revenue makes its way back to token holders, because he doesn't mess around with anything that doesn't have that.
Yeah. Steve said, "I swear Ripple could sell ice in Antarctica."
Dude, and it's not even them. I have nothing to support this. This is just my personal opinion. I think that they have to pay some of these fucking influencers that always talk about XRP, because some of these channels are massive, and like how are they able to like pay for all their operations only talking about XRP?
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of seems like that, like they have like a like a media network, to where they just kind of, then they're always throwing those party. Oh, now David shows up. Like freaking, we're about to end.
What do you mean? Why were you about to end?
I mean, we started like almost an hour and a half ago.
Bro, I've been running calls since noon today. I've been on the last 5 hours, man. So
regale us with tales of your success.
Oh man. So here, I could share something really cool with you guys if you want to see it. Check this out. This is
all right. If you show us
yours, big and black.
If you show us yours, we'll show you ours.
Check this out here. Let me get it ready for you. All right.
It's the Jews. Jay's right. It's the Jews.
Get it ready, bro. Yeah, check this out. You're gonna like this. This is really good. So this is
you got to share your screen. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, usually that helps, right? So this is Cursor. And what I'm doing here in Cursor is I'm actually operating on chain. Okay. So I built a protocol called Laminar. And
you're using like an API or?
Yeah, I'm using the RPC.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm able to give the keys to a deployer wallet to Cursor. I put the keys, the private keys, in the code base.
Okay.
And then I already wrote all the contracts. So all of these contracts I wrote.
And is that your seed phrase down there in yellow so I can take a screenshot?
It is. So you can go ahead and do whatever you want with this. There's a bunch of FETH and a bunch of FUSDC in that wallet. Okay, so it's fake ETH and fake USDC, but it's on testnet. So it's all on Sepolia. And so what I've been doing here is learning how to operate on chain through Cursor by talking to the AI. Okay. And you guys, what I've been learning here is just, it's so much better to operate through the AI on chain through your terminal than it is if you're trying to use the front end interfaces for any of these protocols.
So what is it that it's doing? I'm guessing that it makes it more efficient, that it's able to like execute and things like that much quicker.
Much faster, and you can do extremely complex transactions, all of those flash loans.
This is what you were talking about doing some advanced strategies, like automating some advanced strategies, and then they could monitor it so that like if you're looping, it could basically unloop your position if it becomes unfavorable.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, this is sexy, dude.
Yeah, so this is, and take a look at what it's doing. So these are the commands. So do you remember like when the base chain first launched and there were all of those new protocols on base, and you know, many of them failed or the front ends went down, but you were still able to get your money because
the chain was working, but the freaking the DApp or the protocol wasn't.
Right, exactly. And so right, see, the contracts are on
you're
chain.
Backdoor the chain, you dirty
exactly
dog.
Exactly.
Dirty dog in that chain, are you?
Exactly, man. And so, you know, but here's the thing though, the contracts, I wrote all of these contracts. Well, here's the contract address for USDC. I didn't write that, but the router, I wrote that one. My treasury vault, I wrote that one. Here's my deployer public contract, public address. I've got the private key for that. I've got my RPC set up. There's, you know, fake ETH and fake USDC in that testnet wallet. And so now I can interact with my own contracts on chain, on testnet through Cursor. And so what it does is it uses this tool called Foundry, which if I've got to change the screen share here, but so Foundry is like a set of tools that allow you to build and operate on chain from the command line. So it's going to run these calls. You see cast, that's one of the Foundry functions. So this allows you to operate on chain, and take a look at what it's doing. Check USDC balance in the wallet, approve the router, that contract that I wrote to spend the 5 USDC. That's the approval. Deposit the USDC via the router contract, verify that I minted that SUSD. So I'm creating a protocol here, and I'm testing my own contracts along the way using Cursor. So all AI. And dude, it is really, really cool. And so here, let me change the screen share. Let me change what I'm sharing here.
I might need to fly out there and have you freaking show me how to do this so that I can, you know, if I ever do make a decent amount of money to where I start doing advanced strategies, that I can automate my shit.
Yeah, check this out, man. Check this out. So
this is badass. He smells Tau building this narrative out. David, you're big on Tau, right?
Yeah, man. Tau's great. Tau's a really cool protocol, but the token looks like shit, you know, right now. But so this is the protocol that I've been building out, and you know, I built out all the contracts for this. This is all on testnet, and I've been playing around with it with my deployer wallet. Now check this out. I need to get the address for this.
So this is Drew over at Blockchain Basement, and I agree with this. This you know what Jeff just put up, and then Drew said this. This could expand quickly with an easy, you know, user interface, you know, for the user experience. You know, UI's user interface, UX user experience. Now, I could see this quickly expanding. So, like, what he's talking about is if Tau, who is big into AI and you know, obviously blockchain, if they were able to build something like this out, like if David did some kind of deal with them, it was like, hey, I got this thing, and like sold it to them, they could do a user interface with this to where you just type in, you know, freaking, you know, what liquidity you want and hit start, and it, you know, fucking builds it all out.
Yeah, I mean, so I've just been doing that myself. You know, just working in Cursor.
But if somebody, you know, to make it user friendly, you know, for easier adoption, you know, as a product, if you built a UI on top of it to where, you know, basically.
So Mike, do you want to see the UI?
Yeah, go ahead.
Check it out. This is the UI.
There you go.
Right here. So this is like the alpha version of the UI.
All right.
And then that contract that I was interacting with right here, this deposit flow that I ran from Cursor, that's actually this. Let me bring it over. That's actually this. Depositing 5 USDC here.
Yeah.
This deposit, if I was to do it on the front end, here's the front end.
It would execute.
I could just do it right here. I could click approve and confirm the transaction. Remember, I built all this.
Yeah.
So I just clicked approve, and that's the approval. It's the same exact thing as this step number 2. This command is exactly the same as me clicking deposit and the approval here. And so now here's the confirmation. I'm going to go ahead and confirm the deposit of that 5 USDC, which mints 5 SUSD. Same thing here. Deposit and verify that I received the SUSD. So it's the same exact thing operating manually. You know, if I was to just do it here in Cursor, though, I get the benefit of, you know, how many times have you had a problem with a transaction and you're able to, you know, you have to go on Etherscan.
All right, David, slow down. Drew just unzipped his pants. He's getting turned on.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, how cool is that stuff? You know?
No, dude, it's very, very cool. And I agree with Drew. I'm at half mast right now.
I mean, dude, but think about what's possible now. You know, like you're literally only limited by your own creativity and ability to use that Cursor tool.
Not even your own creativity. You just need to have an idea. You don't even know how to have to build it anymore. You just tell AI, this is what I want to do. And it like does it.
Yeah, man.
You know, it will do all the complicated math. It will, like I said, it will monitor a loop, which is or lend out your liquidity, earn yield, and then you take out a loan against it. So you're still earning yield, and you take out a loan, and then you invest that to earn yield on, and then take out a loan against that. And so
Myke, you know that tool that you use called Miles sometimes?
Yeah.
Imagine if Miles was able to write smart contracts, do all that. Yeah.
That would be fucking badass. If you could just be like, hey, Miles, hey, make me some money today.
Right.
Hi, Myke, I'm on it. Hey,
exactly, man.
Miles.
Exactly. And, you know, it would be even better if you could do that right now in Cursor, and you can talk to Cursor. So like you get it all set up, and then you click the button to listen to you. It records you through the microphone in your computer, and you can talk to it. So once you've got it all set up, you've got your keys in there, you tell it exactly what you want it to do, you could literally just have a conversation with it. And let's say that you wanted to provide liquidity on Uniswap. Well, if you know all of the contract addresses for where you want to deposit.
But David, what if I'm sleeping and I'm having a dream and I about crypto, and I say some fucked up shit and Claude does it, and I lose all my money because I had a weird dream about a crypto project?
Yeah, you know, that's definitely a risk. You've got to do something with those keys. You can't let your agent have unfettered access.
So Crypto Stevo, it's I'm not sure if you're serious about the question, but what protocol is this? Yeah, it's Claude. It's basically the AI that he was using, that he was just showing us to build out that UI and to build all the automations that happen behind it, that connect it to on chain, actual to on chain. That's he's using Claude, but I guess Claude is conversational, like Miles, to where you can talk.
I like calling Claude Cletus.
I like Cletus.
Yeah, me too.
It's more appropriate.
Is it Claude or Cursor?
Cursor.
Yeah, but so he uses Claude too.
Right. So the Claude, I use Opus in Cursor, and what I found has been interesting, man. Like Opus 4.6 is the newest model. It was just released a couple days ago by Anthropic, the makers of Claude, and so 4.6 is a huge step above 4.5. It's so much better. It's really, really good. And the interesting thing, though, is that it's so much better than every other model that it makes using any other model literally a waste of time. Like these other models will get stuck in these weird loops.
Can you tell us how you really feel?
Yeah. Oh, see, someone's started up Claude Bot. That's one of those. Yeah, have you seen that, Jeff? The Claude Bot thing?
No, I actually wanted to bring this up real quick. I saw this earlier on Twitter. This guy gave an AI $50 and told it, pay for yourself or you die, on Polymarket. So autonomous trading agent on Polymarket. So every 10 minutes, it scans 500 to 1,000 markets, builds fair value estimate with Claude, finds mispricing greater than 8%, calculates position size, executes, pays its own API bills from profits. So it learned to survive, built-in Rust for speed, Claude API for reasoning. Yeah, so
it runs on $4.50 a month.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing, man.
So 5 to 29, almost $3,000 in 48 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, man. I mean, so a lot of those you can verify them. You know, if they'll give you the account or like wallet,
make money or die.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of that stuff on X, like they embellish it sometimes.
Yeah,
but yeah, yeah, it's super cool though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it won't be long before AI gets to that. The thing is, though, we won't go down that road. I can fucking yammer on forever. All right. Well, David, I appreciate you showing up, man. That was actually a pretty cool way to end it.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that was I guess the ending note there. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all, Jeff, as always, brother. Drew, appreciate you stopping by. We got Crypto Stevo, we got Jay, we got Hoofty, we got Ellie, we had Nick in here for a while, and we had all kinds of people. I appreciate y'all and everybody over on
the arena.
Who was that on the arena?
Maximus, Elise. We had we even had Colin, Joshua.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, we got a nice crew over there too. Well, we appreciate y'all. And tomorrow, me and David will be back at it at 9 in the morning Pacific and noon Eastern for DeFi High. It's very rudimentary, very basic, entry-level crypto and DeFi. We're talking about wallets tomorrow. That tells you how rudimentary we're getting. But we're working our way up. You know, we're teaching how DeFi works, you know, the foundational principles, and then we'll get into advanced strategies and be talking about DeFi University after we're done going through DeFi High. But sweet. I think that's it. Oh no, we got Mastermind tomorrow as well with Jake. So we'll have advanced DeFi strategies tomorrow as well. Until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.
Peace.